dead. Her sister Summer survived. Only yesterday, this rabbi led his son-in-law's funeral. Today, he spoke again.
Right, Adul Rave Sunshine. She's genuinely the most kind, caring and compassionate young girl who brightened everyone's day.
Australia was meant to be a safe space for Matilda's family. They chose her name because it was Australian, a tribute to the country that offered them refuge from Ukraine. Shortly before the service, Matilda's aunt told me the impact her death has had on her parents.
I don't know if they will be ever happy again. Just full of life and smiles. And suddenly with shots, suddenly it's happened. It's beyond understanding for any human being.
It is clear we need to do more to combat this evil scourge.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese today announced a series of reforms to crack down on hate speech and said a task force would be set up to ensure the education system responded to anti-Semitism.
In announcing the new laws, the Prime Minister accepted responsibility that much more could have been done. He's clearly under pressure. But for those directly impacted and going over the trauma of what happened last Sunday, that admission is of little confidence.
With the park at Bondi now reopened, survivor Philip Einfeld returned today with his family to make his mark on the bridge where the shooting started. His grandchildren recalling the panic.
And you get behind the car.
That's right, and then found her.
Their memories of Sunday are still raw.
It's just, I think we're all still processing what happened and we're still in shock, and it's going to take time to feel normal again. This is our home. We come here really every day with our kids.
Will the bad guys start shooting us again?
The bad guys have gone to jail now.
They're gone. There's no more. That's why we're here, and that's why we've got a beautiful menorah.
Bondi's Jewish community is determined to celebrate this festival of lights despite the darkness of these past few days. Katie Watson, BBC News in Sydney.
Rory McIlroy has won the BBC Sports Personality of the Year award. Golf's Grand Slam winner said he felt truly honoured and that 2025 was the year he made his dreams come true. In second place was England's Women's Rugby World Cup winner Ellie Kildunn. Andy Swiss was there to set this report.
The BBC Sports Personality of the Year 2025 is Rory McIlroy.
Once again, he proved unstoppable. An ovation for Rory McIlroy and one last victory in the year he achieved golfing greatness. McIlroy, that's his masterpiece. After so many near misses, his triumph in the Masters meant he won all 4 major championships, the elusive career Grand Slam, and here he beat rugby union star Ellie Kildunn to that famous trophy.
2025 has been the year that I made my dreams come true. From Augusta to the Ryder Cup and everything else in between. It really has been the year that dreams are made of. And have a great evening. Thank you.
Earlier, the stars had flocked to the red carpet for what is always one of sport's most glittering evenings.
Well, 2025 has been some year for British sport, with a bumper crop of champions to choose from, and tonight was a chance to celebrate some of the biggest winners.
And McIlroy was certainly the biggest, the star of Europe's Ryder Cup side, which won Team of the Year, while Coach of the Year went to Serena Wiegman after she guided England's Lionesses to Euros glory. But the night's most poignant award was for David Stankham and Sergio Aguiar.
Cross the line. Just think about it.
They ran the London Marathon to raise funds in memory of their daughters Elsie and Alice, who died in last year's Southport attack.
I'm just very grateful to accept the award tonight. But I'm just a dad keeping a promise to his little girl.
When I keep spread Alice magic across the world, I keep running. Thank you.
A night of high emotion then, but for Rory McIlroy, one ultimately of elation. A victorious ending to an unforgettable year. Andy Swiss, BBC News.
England are facing defeat in the Ashes after another poor batting performance on the second day of the third test in Adelaide. Patrick Geary reports.
Judgment Day, once again Australia's day, and probably Australia's Ashes. They've made 371 in their first innings, now England's turn. In 40-degree heat, the safest place was in the shade. No shelter out there, no sanctuary. Zach Crawley gone to the returning Pat Cummins. Now Australia released their line. Ollie Pope fell straight into Nathan Lyon's trap. England have no spinner to compare to Lyon. 3 balls later, Ben Duckett was cooked. England was stewing.
We're coming out for the Adelaide Test, Melbourne and Sydney, and I was not in a good mood when I got on that plane.
Been a bit annoying, really. Quite lacklustre for the England team. It's a bit annoying, but I think keep hope. It's not over yet.
That belief would soon be tested. When Joe Root is gone, English hope goes with him, if only he'd let it be. Harry Brook reined it in, staying cool in the heat, but it was a temporary rally. On 45, he went too. Dizzying stuff if you're an England fan, and the technology once again wasn't helping. Had Jamie Smith hit this? As yesterday, the waveform didn't match when the ball passed the bat. He was given. Were they guessing? Both sides seem to have lost faith in the system, but the margin between the teams is wider than a murmur. Fewer extravagant shots this time, but still 8 wickets down, 158 runs behind.
They look now like an England side that's just a little bit unsure whether to attack or do they defend. They've not been able to go up and down in the gears, which is so important at Test match level.
Hope dies hard among English cricket fans, but this felt like the day the Ashes slipped away. Patrick Geary, BBC News.
Now, a 30-year-old surfer from Devon is waiting to find out if she's made it into the record books for riding the biggest wave ever taken on by a woman. Laura Crane was competing in the Nazaré Big Wave Challenge in Portugal at the weekend.
Catching one of those waves, there's so much going through your mind. I mean, to make those waves look as big as we possibly can, there's a certain line that we try and do, which, you know, sits us under the actual kind of crest of the wave. That moment of looking over my shoulder on this wave was a big shock. I had never seen a wave that big in my life. Yeah, there's definitely an element of fear, and that is when you have to override it and just trust in everything around you, from your body, mind, your board, and the wave also, you know, that it's gonna give you the ride that you've been kind of dreaming on. I actually came off the wave and just burst straight into tears, like really happy, overwhelmed. There's a lot of feeling, definitely.
Terrifying. Time for a look at the weather now. Yes, Staf Danayus.
Hi there, Reeta. Thank you very much. Good evening to you. Well, it was a very wet day for much of the country today, but I think this is the last of the very wet weather we'll see certainly for the foreseeable future. And tomorrow's looking vastly better. A lot of sunshine around. It will be quite windy, and there'll be a few showers, mainly in the north and the west. But that's today's rain pushing northwards into the North Sea, Norwegian Sea. This weather front pushing in now is bringing some showers, particularly western Scotland, Northern Ireland, a few across Irish Sea coast, but central and eastern parts of England and also Scotland will be mainly dry tonight. It'll be quite breezy. I think that will stop frost from falling, but it'll be a bit chillier tonight than what it was the previous night. Tomorrow then a chilly start, lots of sunshine around, but it will be a blustery day. Most of the showers in the north and the west, frequent and heavy across Scotland. But central, the Midlands and eastern England, eastern Scotland could escape the showers altogether and stay completely dry. So a lot better, a lot brighter than what we had today. Temperature-wise, closer to the seasonal average, 9 to 11 degrees, but it might feel cooler than that because of the strength of the wind. Another area of low pressure starts to slowly approach from the west, but we're still in this ridge of high pressure as we start the weekend. So a lot of sunshine around on Saturday. Winds starts to pick up from the south, and we'll begin to see stronger winds with outbreaks of rain moving southwest England, probably Pembrokeshire and Northern Ireland later in the day. But elsewhere, it's another dry one, but a bit cooler, single figures for many. And as we push into Sunday, this weather front tries to push rain in across the country, but starts to push back out westwards as high pressure builds over the near continent. So there will be a legacy of clouds, some spots of rain across the country. I think the northern half of Scotland will stay dry throughout. Further south, a bit more cloud at times, and temperatures again 9 to 10 degrees. The run up to Christmas though starts to turn colder with an easterly wind developing That will feed in a few showers, especially to eastern parts of the country. That's it from me, Reeta.
Thank you very much, Staf. That's it from us. Now it's time for the news when you are.
Thanks, Rita. I'm James Boval, and you're watching Midlands Today. Good evening. West Midlands Police has apologised to the teenage victim of an assault who was misled by officers. Theo Rose reported an unprovoked attack, but he was told to sign a community resolution notice, which classified him as both a victim and an offender. He complained, and after an inquiry, his name was eventually cleared. Our investigations reporter Amy Johnston has been talking to Theo and his father.
I was attacked at college twice in the same day. I thought it'd be a very one-sided case whereby I would be seen as the victim and he'd be seen as the offender.
The 18-year-old left Halesowen police station worried and confused. Officers persuaded him to sign something called a community resolution order for an affray.
I didn't know what an affray was at the time. Obviously no one wants a mark on their record to say you've got in trouble with the police for fighting. That's really serious.
My first words were, what have you admitted to, Theo?
Theo's dad, Rod, understood the implications quickly because he was a chief inspector for West Midlands Police at the time.
When I read the paper, I read that it was a community resolution, and then read it was a very serious offence for me. I was angry, if I was with you. Angry because the fact it seems like they've interviewed him without letting him know they're interviewing him.
Theo says he signed because the police officers assured him several times that signing the order wouldn't affect his future.
Obviously later on I found out that it would appear on an enhanced DBS check, so I wouldn't be able to work with vulnerable people.
Community resolutions allow police to deal with low-level offences without going to court, but they require a clear admission of guilt from the offender and an agreement with the victim, neither of which they had here.
There's been a big rise in their use by West Midlands Police. Theo's was one of over 8,000 issued by the force last year, up from just over 3,000 5 years ago. Theo's order was rescinded after a year-long review. It found he had signed it under false pretences. Officers had misled and misinformed him, and key witness evidence was ignored. But it didn't end there.
So I'm 2 days away from retiring after my unblemished 30-year service, and I get a phone call from a colleague who says that I need to report to headquarters. Professional standards, I'm going to have gross misconduct papers served on me.
By helping his son complain, Rod found himself in trouble with the police force he had served in for 30 years. A 6-month investigation found Rod had done nothing wrong.
To know that there are officers out there that are, and I'll use the OPCC word, misleading and getting people to sign things under false pretences, do I have any trust and confidence in the police going forward? I don't.
My trust in them has just been diminished. After what happened, I wouldn't go to the police again over something happening. It's very serious.
Theo says he's relieved to have his reputation restored, and West Midlands Police have formally apologised. Amy Johnston, BBC Midlands Today.
A man appeared before magistrates charged with causing death by dangerous driving for a fatal hit-and-run collision in Birmingham. A 54-year-old man died and the woman sustained leg injuries when they were hit by a car on Soho Road in Handsworth on Tuesday. Harinder Pal Atwal from Albury was remanded in custody to appear at Birmingham Crown Court in the new year. 2 men have been jailed for stealing £20,000 worth of jewellery from a shop in Cheltenham. The robbery at Beards in November was caught on CCTV. Patrick Corley and Bernard Casey, who were both from Birmingham, were sentenced to 12 months in prison at Gloucester Crown Court. Now, Kidderminster was once known as the carpet capital of the world, with a manufacturing heritage dating back hundreds of years. But the town's Museum of Carpet, the only one of its kind in the UK, is closing this weekend due to funding problems. Volunteers say the closure is devastating. Kevin Reed reports.
It's only been open since 2012, but now the Museum of Carpet in Kidderminster will close its doors for good this coming weekend. The simple reason, there are not enough visitors and not enough income. Many former employees of the industry volunteer at the museum, like Arthur. He started work in 1956 as a weaver, just like his mother and father before him.
Weavers come in here, people in the trade, and they're just almost shell-shocked to think they're Kidderminster, a carpet town, has vanished, and they can't believe it.
The museum's sudden demise also parallels the demise of the carpet industry in the town itself. At its peak, the industry employed more than 15,000 people. That's more than a third of the town's population. And there are about 28 businesses here, all making carpets you can see represented by all the chimneys. Now there is just one firm left. There is just one glimmer of hope though, as the trustees believe the museum could be incorporated into a wider, more general museum.
There is a way forwards if we can work with all other organisations within Kidderminster to have a museum for Kidderminster again, so we may be able to feed into that.
For now, efforts are being made to find storage for the collection. Kevin Reed, BBC Midlands Today, Worcestershire.